Hello and welcome. What you're about to see is a short video about a day in the life of Gaza, a dynamic place filled with amazing people. 3 staff members of CRS, an international humanitarian organization that works in Gaza, spent the day exploring the city and talking with local people. They wanted to provide the outside world with a closer look into a unique place that is often in the news but may not be well understood. They wished everyone could have the chance to visit Gaza and get to know the Palestinians there who give it life. So tell me, have you been to Gaza lately?
Going to Gaza, we're going to visit our colleague Omar down there. We're going to see what's going on there and try and show people a little bit of the side of Gaza they may not see in the newspapers or on television. And we're here. I'm Tom, and this is Burju.
Hello.
And John is in the back, and you can see him later maybe. And I think we're going to have a good day.
Tom is the director of CRS's work in Gaza, Jerusalem, and the West Bank. He hails from Montvale, New Jersey, and his hobbies include basketball, active listening, and hanging out in convenience stores. Most of all, Tom is dedicated to CRS's humanitarian mission.
It's a nice day, so we hope we'll have a good day in Gaza, and we'll be able to show people a little bit about what the Gazans feel is special about their home. And you know, they get a lot of bad press, a lot of bad things happen in Gaza. It's a very serious situation, but we hope to show a little bit more of the normal life of people and how they continue to live their lives even though they're kind of under siege in many ways. So, Burju, you have anything to add? Come on now. She was talking nonstop for an hour, and now suddenly...
Oh, here's where Minnie is. I didn't know it was that fun.
Burju is a CRS fellow and a new addition to the staff. She's from Turkey, and she enjoys photography, snacking on baby oranges, and shopping for bottled water. And Burju likes working with Palestinians just as much as she likes to smile. To meet their colleague Omar in Gaza, Tom and Burju have to go through Erez crossing, one of just a few entry-exit points into the continuous wall that surrounds the Gaza Strip.
Gaza, especially, is going through a very hard time at the moment. It's a very special place. It's a small strip, about 25 miles long and 4 to 7 miles wide. And it's got about 1.5 million of people, and 80% of its population is made up of refugees. Those refugees live in 8 refugee camps throughout Gaza. It's one of the most densely populated areas of the world. When Hamas was elected democratically in 2006, the international community did not recognize their coming to power because they see them as a terrorist organization. Therefore, they cut all international aid to the Palestinian Authority, which made up of about 60% of PA's budget. In addition to that, Israel also boycotted the Hamas government, and they said, we're going to cut all our tax returns that they were supposed to be giving to the Palestinian Authority, which made up about 20% of PA's budget. So in a short period of time after Hamas came to government, the PA, the Palestinian Authority, lost 80% of its income. This meant that teachers and all other kinds of government officials could not get their salaries for months. They went on strike. Schools did not start until after 2 or 3 months into the scholastic year, the following year. And public services came to a halt, and economy stagnated, and people were hungry. They were hungry.
Tell us a little bit about the crossing.
Well, the crossing is, it's kind of like an international border, but kind of the international border that you might expect for interplanetary travel, because it's, there's major, iron gates and body imaging devices and lots of military hardware and personnel there that are watching us.
Tom and Burcu made it through Erez without much trouble. The Palestinian side of the checkpoint looked a lot different than the stringent, high-tech Israeli side. At the end of the long corridor between two worlds, Tom and Burcu stepped into Gaza and met their good friend Omar. Omar is the manager of CRS programs in Gaza, where he lives with his family. Among his hobbies, Omar enjoys leading tours of Gaza for his colleagues, telling stories about orange trees, and text messaging. Most of all, Omar loves his home and his community.
Burcu further explains the Gaza Strip and the current internal situation.
President Abbas saw that this couldn't continue like this. Therefore, they declared an emergency government, and that meant that Hamas had to step down. But that intensified the political conflict between Hamas and Fatah, and there were bloody fights in West Bank, and especially in Gaza, which ended with the Hamas takeover of the Gaza Strip. And after the Hamas takeover of the Gaza Strip, the consequences followed, which was that Israel declared Gaza Strip as hostile entity. They tightened the closures around Gaza, and that meant that a lot of the goods that were going in were restricted. And
I think one of the main things that should be done is to exchange visits between nations, between people, and to let people talk to each other.
And
Not to let the media to talk about you. You need to talk about yourself.
And if people came here and actually saw Gaza, what would they see that's different than what they see in the news?
Oh, it's a lot different. It's a big difference. I mean, they will interact with the people themselves, and they will see the adverse condition that they live in, and they will find Gaza is like any other place. We have people who like music, who make businesses, who know who do technical job, who want to live in peace. People here are educated, look to the school, to the children, to the females. They go to the school, they insist to go to the school. All the conditions in Gaza, Palestinian believe in education.
around 60% of the youth we've been working with have never been outside of Gaza. They have relatives in Jerusalem, relatives in the West Bank, but they've never been able to travel. They want an end to the closure. They want to be able to move freely in and out. They want goods and commodities to come into Gaza and imports to go out of Gaza, so that there's more jobs for them, there's more jobs for their fathers so they can feed their families, so that they just don't have to suffer that much to get the basic necessities of life. Their families has become a lot poorer, And for university students, this might mean that they will not be able to pay their tuition fees anymore. It might also mean that they don't even have money for transport to the university. When there aren't very many opportunities, recently, one thing that's always a possibility for young people is to join in one of the security forces, for example. In the past, when they did that, that meant that they found themselves right in the middle of violent conflict. To earn some money for their families, they would join a Fatah security force or a Hamas-affiliated security force. And when the political conflict between the two parties intensified, that meant they had to be part of the fighting in the streets, or that meant that they would be sought out by one party or the other, and they would be kidnapped and sometimes tortured. And when you talk to these young people, you would not believe in some of the stories of what they've been through. What the young people want is not further division. They want national unity. They think that this internal political conflict is harming their national cause of building a statehood for themselves, of gaining their independence. They say that in the past we used to be united and we used to be working to build our country or gain our independence. Right now, all our energy seems to be wasted in this national conflict, and it's also harming our international image. That's how they.
Finally, the trio went to see the Al-Muzan family in their home on the coast at the northern end of the Strip, the site of frequent invasions by the Israeli army. The father, Ibrahim, is a successful artist who exhibits his work all over the world.
So, have you ever been out here when they're attacking?
Yeah, I wonder.
What is that like? Huh?
Other than there's incursion, Ibrahim is in the house and the tanks.
Do you have a safe basement or anything that you go to? Or?
No, it's only glasses, you know.
I give him solidarity.
I don't know where to hit him.
Tom, I give him solidarity.
The tanks was.
I could pull him.
Where were they?
Yeah.
When? The last time?
In the space, yeah. In the space.
Right below where the field is.
You know, this is.
When was this that the tanks came?
3 weeks.
3 weeks ago.
Underneath that. There underneath.
One of the ways CRS is trying to help is by working with the United Nations food distribution, Food for Work, Food for Training.
We give 2 or 3 months food rations in return for so many hours of community work or training that people attend. We also do work with young people. We work with schools. We have a program called Value Building Education that complements the civic education curriculum with co-curricular activities that are implemented in and outside of the school environment. The young people talk about democracy, they talk about social change and justice issues, and they also talk about peace within the Palestinian community, about accepting differences, accepting the other, and about nonviolent principles of conflict resolution.
As they headed back to the checkpoint, Burcu asked Omar to reflect on the day. If he had a chance to speak directly to Americans and others around the world about his home in Gaza, what would he say?
I want to tell people that America and that Palestinian people, like others, they want peace and they don't believe in violence. The environment, the circumstances that they live in, they have resulted in such an act. So we need to treat the root of the problem, not the symptom of the problem.
Omar,
Yes.
what do you think your friends think that Americans think? In other words, you know, we heard today a couple of things being critical of the U.S. What do you think that do your friends think of the American position towards Gaza and where this policy comes from? You know, I mean, do they think people don't care, or they don't know, or that they actually are afraid, or what is it?
This topic has been discussed many times. Some of the Palestinians think that the American people are very simple. They live in very comfortable life. They don't pay enough effort to understand what's going on or what behind the news. They trust the news, but what we believe that the American people, they're peaceful people, because we see their films, we know a lot how they live. They like entertainment, they like to live normally. So some Palestinian or many Palestinians wonder why the American who want to live peacefully, they don't support others to live peacefully. So we think there is a gap between what is going on in the world and the level of the knowledge that the Americans know about others. So what we argue that the Americans should be much more effort to know the reality. But as you have seen, Gaza today has many other faces, has many positive things, has a big potential. People just want to live peacefully. Although all the circumstances, you walk in Gaza Street today, and I think there was no one signal that people in Gaza don't like foreigners or don't welcome strangers. But the situation that we live in terms of poverty, restriction to travel, closure, curfew, demolition, all these security measures that are taken by Israel don't enable us to live or to show our reality. At the same time, we don't have the capacity to go and to make media campaign to tell the world what is the reality of Gaza. So we ask other people who can do that, like the American people, the American university, the American human rights activists, international organizations like CRS and other organizations. They can play a vital role in this, in bridging the information gap and letting the people in the world know more about the Palestinians.
That's the voice?
Yeah. Sorry? I didn't hear it.
What? Like the Charlie Brown cartoons?
Yeah.
Like the teacher's like, wah, 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 wah. Oh, excuse me? Are you giving me directions right now?
No, ma'am, I didn't do my homework.
Yeah.
It's nothing a small girl should have to go through.
What are they doing?
They're, they have to, this body imaging device, that it spins around and I don't know what it shoots at you. but they can tell everything, you know, that you have, even if you have a slip of paper in your pocket. So you have to take all your keys and absolutely everything, even tissues and stuff, out of your pockets. And you have to put your hands up and put your feet on these marks on the floor, and it's a little bit harrowing, I think, for little kids. Oh.
محمد دقيقة ستسمت كل الدريم جل إخاد الخان تا خبوة تا كيت
ها